Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Honey Guess What podcast. I'm Dan,
I'm Brynn.
and this is a podcast that is lighthearted, easy to digest, and we're not experts.
No, we're not experts on anything, really.
Not at all. We want to just share little bits of trivia, fun facts, that sort of stuff with each other, as we have done in our relationship thus far. And we decided to make them into a podcast, so...
Yeah, this is really meant as entertainment.
Yeah.
Not, like, education.
Yeah.
Really, we are getting, like, 90% of this from 10-minute Google searches and Wikipedia.
Yeah, so Wikipedia is my favorite because it's actually fairly accurate, but also, as kind of a joke, the first couple of Christmases that Brynn and I were together, she would give me a gift that was a donation in my name to Wikipedia.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, really.
And I'm just giving back. That's all that's happening.
Yeah, so think about that as a Christmas present this year. Give people the gift of Wikipedia.
Yeah, I mean, we want to keep it up and running, so thanks, Wikipedia.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
All right, so...
So I won the coin flip again tonight. I get to go first.
Yes.
And as promised, I've picked a hot button topic to get us off the ground.
I will admit I'm more nervous than I let on about this. I was all like, no, it'll be fine, it'll be totally fine. And I still don't know what it is, but I'm trying to be supportive, but I'm failing.
All right, well, it's flu shots.
Oh no.
I'm not going to talk about whether or not you should get them, the ethicality, that's not a word, the ethics of getting it, your beliefs, whatever. I don't want to talk about any of that. What I do want to talk about is how they put together the formula each year of what the flu shot cocktail is going to be.
Okay.
So
it's like, blue curacao and like...
Not that kind of cocktail.
No. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that shot, but...
Not the same thing.
No.
No, so actually this started because I was talking to coworkers about our flu shots, and one of my coworkers said, "Oh, do you know how they put together which strains are going to be in the shot each year?" And I was like, no, because nobody thinks about that, really. Like, we just complain that it's the wrong one or whatever. So she said that they base it off of what the flu is in Australia the year before.
Uh-huh, okay.
And that's how they decide which one is going to be in our flu shot. I am a disbeliever. I don't believe anything people say to me.
So my thought is, when you say that, my thought is like, do they just do the same thing?
Right.
Just opposite?
Right.
You know, like, because when you flush the toilet, supposedly, it's just the opposite way. Is it the same with the flu shot? Like, oh, we just do what the Americans did last year. Are we just, like, swapping saliva with the flu shot? That's a bad analogy.
That's a really bad analogy, babe.
But it's out there now.
Well.
And we did it.
So
Uncomfortable within 2 minutes. This is great.
So I'm going to tell you how they actually put the flu shot formula together each year. It's a little more involved than just saying, "Hey, Australia, what strains are killing you?"
Okay, I'd hope so. That's cool.
So I actually did some of my research on the CDC website.
Okay.
Also some, like, random Googling. But I started with the CDC website, which I think is...
fairly reputable, I would say.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And then, because the CDC talks in a lot of really big words, I also found a site that basically says the exact same thing, but in layman's terms, and that's on Vice.
Oh, thank goodness for Vice.
No, in this case, they just dumbed it down so that I could explain it better.
Sure, it wasn't that you didn't understand the CDC.
No.
No, that's not possible. You got this.
I thought this was a little more palatable.
Okay.
Like the flu vaccine.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So basically, there are two main strains of flu.
Okay.
Influenza A types
Okay.
and influenza B types.
Simple enough, okay.
Except it's not.
Mm.
So there are like a ton of different A types, like 100 plus different influenza A strains.
I don't like this complication. Go ahead.
No, so, like, I'm probably exaggerating. It's probably not that many, but no. Right here it says there are hundreds of strains of
Oh,
influenza
hey, right there. Wow. Black
in
and white.
two main classes, A and B. See,
All
I
right.
was remembering what I
Hey,
read.
Cool.
And it's like little tiny differences, like differences in DNA, like what makes me have blonde hair and not, like, and the kids both don't have blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
That little tiny difference makes me influenza A 99.6 and makes Kennedy influenza A 99.2.
Okay.
Okay? It's like those little tiny differences. So basically, they always pick a couple of the A strains because the A strains are more prevalent. And then they usually include 1 or 2 B strains.
Okay, so there's actually like 3 or 4, it sounds, 3 or 4 different strains within the
In
vaccine.
each vaccine each
Okay.
year.
Okay.
It's obviously evolved over the years. So the first couple of years that the flu vaccine was big, it had less different strains in it, and now it has more with the same ability to fight things.
Okay. I think I follow that.
Fightability.
So, yeah, fightability.
It has the same fightability.
It is just as drunk on whiskey as all of the other.
as all of the others.
Yes.
So, okay, so they try to make it. So what they do is they take from the previous year what were the most common strains in like February and March.
Okay.
And then those are the ones they base it on for the flu shots that we get in September, October, and November.
All right.
The flu in our area, like in North America, is people think that the flu season really starts in October, November. No, that's flu shot season. The flu is most prevalent in February.
But they want you to have it, so okay.
Right.
All right.
Right. Because it does take a couple weeks to be active in your system or whatever.
Yeah.
So they take the flu that's around in February, March, April, the end of the flu season, to make next year's flu vaccine cocktail.
Yep.
I keep using the word cocktail. It's not as exciting as it sounds.
It's fine.
Anyway, it really doesn't have a lot to do with other countries, though, because other countries have to deal with other flu strains in other seasons.
Okay.
So we're really not taking strains that are affecting Australia or England or...
It's really ours. We're keeping it domestic.
We're keeping it, North American. They change from year to year, but they're, like, similar.
Okay.
So it's like the difference, again, between me and our children versus the difference between me and somebody who lives on a different continent that I know nothing about.
Okay. So they can kind of guess how it's going to evolve, I guess you could say, how it's going to mutate, and then they pretty much just guess?
It's a little bit of guessing, but according to the CDC and according to the World Health Organization, which I also checked,
Yay!
this is what they're calling the most scientific guess
Those are some big words there.
that a person can make. Because they literally spend the entire year watching how it's evolving. So it's like saying, if we combine Dan and Brynn, we're likely to get these 10 versions of children.
Yeah.
2 of them are the children we actually had.
Right, okay.
So
So break out your Punnett squares.
basically.
That's all anybody remembers from biology in high school is the Punnett squares.
So this is probably the scienciest. Look, I'm making up words left and right.
You are. So many. Did you get them off Wikipedia?
No.
Because you're going to hear some more in just a little bit.
This is the most scientific podcast I will probably ever do. But I just felt like this was something we all deal with at this time of year, but none of us really understand. Literally, we get it. We complain that we get the shot. We complain that we're getting sick from it, which they say that you can't. We complain that they picked the wrong strains because people are still getting the flu. Mm-hmm. takeaway that I have on this is they are doing research year-round, so they're really giving us the best flu shot that they possibly can give us. But it's not a perfect science because they can't determine exactly how it's going to mutate year to year.
Cool. All right.
So there you go.
So I got
my hot button topic.
Okay, that was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I got to say, though, I am also glad that you said that, because when you said your coworker said something like, oh, you know how they do it, they get it from Australia, that is exactly what's going to be my answer if you ask me, how do you think they get it? That was going to be my answer.
So it's like, it's not true, but a lot of people believe that.
Yeah, well,
so, now, this actually has been pretty educational
See,
today.
there you go. Good job.
Don't hold us to everything,
No.
though, people, please.
Not everything. No, we don't need a bunch of nasty grams. Like, if you are a scientist, this is your job, you know better. Good, thank you. Keep doing your job. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
We do.
There's
really
a reason
do.
we're not you, though.
Yes, there's a big reason. We're tired and parents. So.
They might be tired parents, too.
That's true. Yeah. I'm not taking that away from them.
Okay.
So, I have a topic.
You do?
I do.
Is it hot button?
It is not.
Are we going to get nasty grams?
No, we are not.
Okay.
So I have a question for you, though, first.
Okay, I'm ready.
So...
For me or for the audience?
No, for you.
For me, oh.
Just for you. They can't talk back.
I know.
They can yell all they want, but we're not going to hear it. It's
I'm ready.
Beauty of technology.
I'm ready.
So, the question. What do you think of when I say the name Frank Abagnale Jr.?
Oh, Catch Me If You Can.
Hey! Okay. All right.
I read his book.
Yeah. I saw it on the bookshelf. And so one of the things that we watched when we were dating was you showed me that movie, Catch Me If You Can.
I love that movie.
I had never seen it, and it was amazing, and I loved it, and I've watched it a couple times now.
Okay, so this is our official movie recommendation this week. Go watch Catch Me If You Can.
It has Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks.
And Amy Adams.
Oh, I forget she's in that movie.
Amy Adams is in that movie. And Christopher Walken.
Yeah, Forrest Walken.
Yeah.
I mean, what I was going to say is you should go watch that movie because Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio don't exactly pick bad movies. And then you bring up Christopher Walken, and I don't know if he's ever said no to a movie script, but, he's still great, and we love him. So, I digress. Frank Abagnale Jr.
Frank Abagnale Jr.
I was thinking about that movie, and I was like, man,
Have you read the book?
I've not read the book.
Oh, you should read the book.
It's right over there on the shelf. It would not take very much effort.
No, and it's not a difficult read. This is our official book recommendation tonight.
All sorts of education. So, I'm going to have some other names for you. And because this topic, we're going to do con artists.
I love con artists.
Who doesn't love a good con?
Probably the people who they're perpetuated against.
Yeah, but we're not going to
perpetrated.
We're not going to talk to them tonight.
Oh my God, I'm so bad at words tonight.
That's fine. So
it's not. We're on a podcast, honey.
It's okay. It's for entertainment, not education. The topic is con artists.
I'm super excited,
Yeah.
and also because con artists was one of the things I had penciled down for me to do later.
Ah, yes, got it.
Yes,
Nailed
so
it.
you got it.
Sniped that from you. All right, so I'm going to.
He's trying to
I'm
get
trying
on
to
his. He's trying to get on his
Yeah.
cheat. He has notes on his phone, but he can't
I
open his
do.
own phone.
So,
I'm really excited.
yeah. So,
American con artists or worldwide con artists?
we're going to do. This is a mix of all. So here we go. From Wikipedia, William Shaloner. He was born in 1650, and he died in the 22nd of March, 1699. So going back a little ways. He was a serial counterfeiter. And
In the 1600s.
In the 1600s.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay.
So, he's a pretty big name, actually. He's got some pretty big names attached to him. He was a serial counterfeit coiner, and he was imprisoned in Newgate Prison several times, and it says in England, and eventually proven guilty of high treason by Sir Isaac Newton.
Yeah, okay.
That's just a name drop that right there.
Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good to have on your resume that you were caught by Isaac Newton, who was the master of the Royal Mint at the time.
So this dude was making fake coins.
He was making fake coins, and currency in general. So basically, what he did, here's how he did it. He targeted the Bank of England, which started trading in 1694. It started trading a new 100 pound note. Okay, and so the banknotes were introduced, and to prevent forgery, they were printed on official paper. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So something that you can't do now that you could do then is walk into a place and say, "Hi, I'm this person with this entity."
I mean, you can.
I mean, you can, but they're going to ask for identification.
Sure.
And credentials.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, way back in this day,
I mean,
all you had
fake IDs exist now, Dan.
Oh.
Just because you didn't have one doesn't mean other people didn't live a little before they were of age.
moving on. So, all you had to do was know the correct information of what entity you should be from, write up something that looks somewhat reasonable.
He just was going up and being like, "Oh, I'm part of the Royal Mint.
Yeah.
I'm here to pick up the paper for
Well, and so you worked as a bank teller.
a brief time."
Right.
Yes.
If somebody walked up to you back in this day
In the 1600s.
in the 1600s and said, "Hi, I'm from the Royal Mint. We made a purchase through you guys at your business, and I just want to make sure that I get the right paper to continue the business relationship. You know, I want to know what paper we're getting and how much we're paying, so that we can continue to keep this business transaction going for years to come. So I want to make sure I have that on my record, so that to verify that that's actually what we get. But we place an order and the paperwork is missing. I can't find it."
That's ballsy.
Okay, so easy to do back then, not so much now.
Well, yeah, definitely easier.
Right. So that's what he did.
It's not like they had photo IDs.
Yeah, right. He didn't have
Right.
photo IDs. I mean, it would take, a considerable amount of hours to draw something accurate at that point of what somebody looked like.
Yeah, sure.
And then they ruined it by shaving. So, so yeah, that's what he did. Is he looked and found out what official the paper stock was, and then just straight up ordered it from the same supplier.
Awesome.
Yep. And then it didn't. The thing is, when he started doing it, it wasn't a felony yet.
Okay, sure. Because nobody expected somebody else to do it.
Right. Yeah.
This is the official money. This is where you get it from. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the forged paper was eventually traced to a printer, where they traced back to him. What he did is he immediately turned over the stock of unused paper and named a bunch of other people who were in on it. And then they rewarded him.
Oh my gosh.
And he was initially a hero. So Isaac Newton was too smart for this, though.
Obviously.
Yeah, he's no slouch. He's a brainy guy. So he ended up looking more into it and realizing, no, this guy actually was out in this the whole time, and he's made a fool of us. And he was dealt with beheading, of course.
Beheading?
Yes, he was beheaded, and that's essentially the end of him. So,
Essentially.
Yeah, I mean...
That's the end. Once you're beheaded, you can't commit any more cons.
well, I mean, not easily. So, the next one also actually has a bit of a personal attachment, much like Frank Abagnale Jr. Do you remember the name Soapy Smith?
Soapy Smith?
Soapy Smith.
One of your poker buddies? That doesn't... What is
Uh-oh.
I don't know the
You're
name.
testing me here.
I really
No?
don't remember.
Okay. So his name, I believe his first name is actually Jeffrey. He went by a bunch of different aliases. Once again, we're not experts. Uh, but he went by Soapy Smith from Skagway, Alaska.
Oh! I do remember.
Yeah, okay. So Soapy Smith, he was a con artist who did his work in the gold rush, the Alaskan gold rush. And what he would do, he was known for his operating of the shyster deal, the three-card Monte, and also the pea and shell games. You see them in movies all the time. They pick the shell, pick where the pea is underneath these 3 cups or 3 shells. That's what he would do. He was a master at that. And essentially what he would do is when new miners would come to town, he would hustle them for a fair amount of money. And eventually he would go for the rights that they had purchased to their tract of land that they were going to mine on.
He basically was using like sleight of hand and hustle.
Right.
Okay.
But it gets a bit more involved than that.
Sure.
So he would paint himself as, well, no. I realize that you came up here all this way. I'm not going to go and take this from you. I'll sell it back to you. You know what? Just half of your winnings, half of what you lost, just in cash, and I will give this back to you. He's a nice guy, right? Soapy Smith. Soapy Smith. He got his name from, he used to make and sell soap.
Sure.
Yeah, this is in 1897. He's an 1897 Tyler Durden. So, very trustworthy. You gotta go for it. So he,
That is not our official movie
Nope.
this week. Sorry.
No, it is not. No.
Sorry, we already picked one.
We did. Still good, not the official. So, so what he would do is then they'd be like, oh, what a great guy. So they would go up and it'd be like, well, I'm kind of low on money though. Now that I lost this, and he'd say, you know what? I happen to have a service. I'm kind of a big deal in this town. I run a service that is it's a wire service. These telegraph wires head out, and you can wire your loved ones back home for money. And when it gets here,
how magnanimous of him!
so nice. He's
Rob
like,
you blind and then let you use his wire service.
yes, he wouldn't even charge you for it. Yeah. So what he would do is people would do this. They'd wire out to their family for more money. The problem was the wires went straight out into the ocean and stopped. So nobody got any message. And basically, he owned a few businesses in town. These weary travelers already had hopes of gold, would be stuck in town waiting on this money, spending the remainder of what they had in town just to survive.
And he owned several of the businesses.
He owned several of the businesses. And he would, out of the goodness of his heart, when they ran out of money, he would buy their titles, which he would pay for with the money that they lost in the gambling scams.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
that's actually like a really well thought out con, though.
it really is.
It's like you're getting them every single direction.
And then they go home still thinking you're a nice guy.
Yeah. Like you did all these things and you bought them out when their money didn't come and
Yeah.
dang, Soapy Smith.
Yeah. So
How did he get? He obviously got caught. People knew about it enough that it's on Wikipedia. So basically, I didn't see any end to this. So I think that he got away with this until he died, or at least until the gold rush fizzled out. Wow.
Yeah. There's no big end that I saw to his life. No.
Sir Isaac Newton was already gone.
Yeah,
so.
Newton was out already. No, he had already said his bit about gravity, and he was like, "I'm out. We're done." So yeah. There's one more that I have here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, one last one. So you're 2 for 2 on the name game.
Yeah, it took me a minute.
Or 2 for 3, rather.
Yeah, it took me a minute on Soapy Smith, but I remember now that we saw that show about him when we were in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had Abagnale.
Yeah,
down.
yeah, I know him.
You had You did not have Shellner, but who
No.
would?
No.
And Sophie Smith, I'm going to give that one to you. Because
Yeah.
once I said it.
Once you said Skagway,
Yep.
I put it all together.
Here's the third one.
All right.
And this is one that you probably don't know, but you're not going to forget. George C. Parker.
George C. Parker.
Yep. He's more... I'm going to say he's more recent. He's in 1860. But...
Well, yeah, okay, so less recent than
Right.
Sophie.
Slightly less.
Okay.
He was active, we'll say, in the 1920s.
Okay.
So he was born in 1860, but he was active
Got
in the
it. So
early
he
1900s.
is the most
He's the
current
most
of
recent
these.
of
Okay.
the ones that we're going to talk about today. George C. Parker, though, people don't really know his name, but I guarantee you know his work. He did a lot of his work in New York City. George C. Parker was an American con man. He was... Basically what he would do is he would go and pose, much like our first guy there, as a professional. He actually would set up real estate offices, though, fake real estate offices. And he would have business cards, and he would look the part, look legit.
Okay.
And he would walk up to somebody who he would have identified as wealthy but gullible.
Oh, okay. I see you there looking wealthy but gullible.
Yes. The sign that says, I'm wealthy and gullible. So he would look for that
Nouveau
sign.
riche.
The
Then,
nouveau
yeah,
riche,
got you.
And in the 1920s, the booming
Oh,
20s.
yeah, sure.
I mean,
It's
there was
roaring.
money. There was roaring 20s. There was money to be had.
Sure, absolutely.
And he wanted his piece. Well, all you got to do is sell a famous landmark.
How do you sell a landmark?
He would walk up to people and tell them, hi, with all this industry that's happening, the city wants to cash out.
Okay.
And he would act the part that he was a government official looking to privatize a national monument or a landmark within New York City and sell it to them. He would draw up the fake paperwork and then sell it to them.
So, okay.
He sold...
How do you believe that somebody's selling you part of a landmark?
Public landmarks he incorporated into his scams included the original Madison Square Garden,
Uh-huh.
the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
No!
Yep, he sold Met.
To people literally believed.
Yes.
Like, oh, the city wants to cash in their assets?
Brynn.
That's so crazy.
There's a Saudi prince.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Isn't that hard to believe, really?
Okay.
It's the same thing.
I know, and...
So, Metropolitan Museum of Art, Grant's tomb,
Uh-huh.
and the crown jewel, the Statue of Liberty.
He did not.
No, he did.
He really convinced people to buy the Statue of
He
Liberty
did.
from him.
Parker had multiple methods for making his sales. When he sold Grant's tomb, he would often pose as the general's grandson.
Oh my gosh.
He set up a fake office to handle real estate swindles. He produced convincing forged documents as evidence to suggest that he was the legal owner of whatever property he was selling. He also sold several successful shows and plays, of which he had no legal ownership.
Wow.
He's like the best of the producers. He didn't even
Yes.
he didn't even try to make it a real movie and sell it, a real play. He just told everybody it was his.
That's not our movie of the week either.
That's not. The producers is
You're
also.
naming a lot of movies tonight, man.
Well, hey. So, he was convicted of fraud 3 times.
Okay.
Only 3. After one arrest in 1908, he escaped the courthouse by calmly walking out after donning a sheriff's hat and coat that had been set down by a sheriff who had walked in from the cold outdoors. Just walked out.
Awesome.
After his third conviction, on December 17, 1928, he was sentenced to mandatory life term in Sing Sing prison.
Just like the producer.
Just like the producers. He spent the last 8 years of his life incarcerated there, and was popular among guards and fellow inmates who enjoyed hearing of his exploits.
That's awesome.
Parker is remembered as one of the most successful con men in the history of the United States. This is a quote from Wikipedia, by the way. As well as one of the history's most talented hoaxers. His methods have passed into popular culture, giving rise to phrases such as, "And if you believe that I have a bridge to sell you."
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm so glad you ended with him. Like, I'm going to be thinking about this for days.
Yeah, no, he was great. I read in here, somewhere in here, it written that he...
You'd what? You read?
I read in here and then I rewrote, but then forgot to say. So, very efficient.
You just made up a word. I just wanted you to know that I'm not the only word maker-upper tonight.
We are creative talent.
Oh, okay.
He would sell, actually, the Brooklyn Bridge a couple times a week. And the only reason that they ever caught on, the authorities would catch on, is because the people who bought it would try to set up toll booths.
Oh my gosh.
On the Brooklyn Bridge.
So literally, like, they were probably fighting each other, these
Yes.
multiple people who had purchased it.
Yep.
And that's how they caught him.
Yeah, because the police were called.
So if he just sold different things every time, he probably wouldn't have gotten caught right away. Well,
Probably.
when he got caught.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
So, yeah.
Con artist.
George C. Parker, Sophie Smith, and William Shalom.
Awesome.
Challoner. Yeah. That's what I got.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah. That was a fun one.
I feel like this was a really good one.
It was. I'm really happy with it. So.
Blue shot cocktails and con artists.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here for this episode. Like and follow us on Facebook. We're going to be posting our content mostly right to Facebook. We might have a couple other platforms that we try out. Facebook and YouTube will have all of our archive stuff.
At least to start, yeah. I think it's worth saying here in our second episode that we're still figuring out this podcast thing. Mm-hmm. Not only are we not experts in anything, we're not experts in podcasts either. Mm-hmm. So we're still figuring out how we're editing stuff and where we're sharing it all, but definitely start on Facebook. That's where our archives and at least our newest information will be.
Yep. So, yes.
Till next time.
Till next time. Thanks, everybody.